asking us a ton of questions for like the whole lunch hour. Hardly had time to eat my food, but really great to see the things that they're building and to see all of the things that could help us build even cooler things for DFK. And we're trying to get them to come to DFK chain, and they're already on Klaytn testnet, and we're pushing them to also launch in their net. So we'll hopefully have some more updates to share on that soon. But that's been really good. We have our session coming up soon with me and Magnus. And yeah, if you're in the area, if you're at the conference, I'm sure some of you, maybe even here in the audience, might also be here. But we have a lot of merch. We're going to be giving out just like some shirts and cards and stickers and hats and stuff like that. So come out and get it. Beetle, we had a release. What was it? Was it last night? Yeah, it was last night. That was awesome, and I'll let him talk a little bit more about that.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. So Magnus, the trooper that he is, was able to get the contracts launched just in time for mainnet. From the conference, he was doing it from the hotel Wi-Fi. Got those out. So we're able to get pet hatching, pet auctions, pet exchange, and then Stone Carver as well. So it's in time for those to also shut off in Serendale 1.0. We got them ported over, and they're both live on Crystal Bale, which is super exciting. And then a feature that I was excited about that I got to work on myself was the quick select functionality for quests. So basically, go into your quest selection, hit quick select option, and it should hopefully for the most part work seamlessly, and a little bit of smart addition options going on as well. And then just still more improvements to come. We're kind of moving pretty quick, but trying to get as many quality of life improvements as we can in there at the same time. And I guess I can talk a little bit about what we're working on next. Obviously, we're working on duels, and I can let you talk a little bit more about that. And when I'm done, about just working on getting that set up on the front end. Tipicool has been working pretty hard this week on future stamina, which will basically show you in the UI when you're able to kind of rely on future stamina for your heroes. So yeah, a lot of cool things coming. Need to take another look at the list, but I think we're getting really close to being done with Crystal Vale parity, and the next step will be moving over to the Serendale 2.0 migration, which is really exciting. But yeah, that's the big updates on my end. And if you had any other thoughts on duels that you wanted to share, that'd be good.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. The quality of life updates last night were just amazing. I was able to get all my heroes queued up in like a minute this morning, and I was in a rush too because I had to get to the event. So yeah, that was really great.
Yeah, they all come from my desire to make my life easier, so it's perfect.
Yeah. No, there's a quote of some sort about like the best developers are laziest ones because they're the ones that put in things that make everyone's life easier. So, yeah. Duels, yeah. So I spent a lot of time revamping how we do the matchmaking and deployed it to testnet, and just in the queue right now for integration with the front end. And I think that's going to be one of the main things that are going to be working on this week and also next week. And I'm excited to be supporting that process as well because I think it's going to be a lot better of an experience for our users than Season 0 was. Other things we're working on is sJewel. We kind of teased that last week, and Hubert's been working really hard on just making sure that the math works out. And I had like all these things that I wanted sJewel to do, and it's a tall order because sJewel basically did like two things. It allowed you to accumulate more jewels, and it it allows you to vote on proposals, basically. And then, of course, we added like the pool for on Christopher for that too, but it was always just more of a temporary synthetic jeweler. sJewel is going to do a lot more, and it's going to do it better. And I'll have more specifics to share about that soon. But basically, last night we made a breakthrough with the math and algorithm on that, and we have a really cool, really, I think, like revolutionary offering for that will be really good for everyone. So I'm super stoked about that. I think that you guys are gonna love it. Stay tuned for that. I'm gonna probably start coding that this weekend, actually. Um, and hopefully this is a little bit quieter. I moved to another corner, but yeah, that's some of the main things we're working on. And yeah, any other updates there, Beatles?
Nice. No, I would just give a big shout out to our tokenomic committee. You guys are awesome. I just kind of sit in there and have my head exploded half the time, just listening to all the really smart ideas and directions that you guys have. So just a big shout out.
Yeah,
you guys are doing great work.
I'll try to tease a little bit. Hopefully Hubert doesn't crucify me because we haven't written the code for this yet. So this is all subject to change, but what we think will be able to do is you'll be able to basically stake jewels, choose an amount of time that you want those jewels to be staked for. So it's kind of like a lockup mechanism that allows you to basically stake jewels and get an amount back based on how long that you stake them for. And then that amount back will give you greater shares if you're staking for longer periods of time relative to the amount that you put up. And that will give you a greater share of the power for voting, like for proposals and for governance, which solves a lot of problems about having having someone who has a lot of assets and funds come in and just buy up a lot of jewels specifically for a single vote and then immediately dump them after, which is always a risk in any protocol out there on the blockchain. This helps to mitigate that risk because if you want to have a lot of power for voting, you also have to have more skin in the game, where you have to actually stake your jewels and lock them up for a period of time to get a proportional power for the voting there. And so it solves a lot of problems and vulnerabilities that we see in our proposal system for voting. But it also makes a lot of really cool things we can do for snapshots and airdrops. Because if you guys remember, when we do snapshots, a lot of times what we've had to do is we've had to do many snapshots over the course of a month, even multiple times a day, and then average those all out to prevent people from just accumulating and stacking jewels just for a snapshot and then basically going to dump them after, which of course we don't want. This solves that problem too, because again, in order to get those sJewels, you need to stake and lock jewels for a period of time. So that's kind of just built in. It allows us to do a lot more snapshots, a lot more regularly and frequently. So you'll see a lot more of those coming out just because it'll be a lot less overhead to do. And even announcing those snapshots well ahead of time and saying, on this date and time, we're going to have a snapshot for this specific thing, that will allow people to sort of plan for those, but not necessarily be able to game them, which is huge. So I'm stoked about that. But then the third thing that we're doing is having a profit sharing sort of similar model to what we did with sJewels, where it had the ratio and you would receive some of the protocol fees would be fed into the bank or into the jeweler. The same type of idea is happening here with sJewels too. But it's completely different in how we're doing it. It's actually more akin to the approach we take in the gardens, where rather than just increasing the ratio, you're actually basically being allocated jewels from the amount that are coming in from fees and from profit sharing in real time, so that you can actually claim from the jeweler at any time without having to withdraw your initial amount you put in. So it's very similar to the garden aspect, where you stake LP tokens and you can see the jewels slowly accumulating in your account and then claim them. So I'm really stoked about that as well, because that allows a lot more flexibility and another option for a passive income for those that just want to hold and stake jewels and be able to participate in profit sharing and in stuff with the governance votes. and snapshots and things like that. So basically all of the good things from our old system, but done even better and in a secure way that can't be gamed. And then finally, there's a fourth thing, because this is the one jewel to like, I guess like rule them all. It'll have all the features built into one token of like sorts in our protocol. Obviously, there's other things for Crystal and for KPT that are being used in our game for summoning and for like the in-game feeds and things. But Jewel will be very important as well. And that's some of the ways we're doing it. But a extra one that we want to add on to that is this new idea we have for sort of premium in-game unlockable like features or subscriptions or things where you'd be able to have access to certain premium features by basically having some of your sJewel, which is already being locked anyways, being able to be allocated towards certain subscriptions to unlock certain features in our game. So for example, you might be able to say 100 sJewels could be set to unlock a feature that would allow you to have less of a fee when you level up or something like that. Or you might have access to certain things that are a little bit more automated in like our game. So some of the ideas we have there, and I'm really stoked about that. I can't share a lot more about that yet because we're still trying to flesh out a lot of those systems, but that will be another utility on top of the existing sJewel system that we're building, sort of all within one contract, which is amazing. But I'm super stoked about that. It might be boring for some people, but that's the kind of stuff that really is like, wow, it's going to solve so many things. So that's a little bit of alpha. Hopefully that tides people over for our AMA next week, where we'll probably be answering and basically looking at all the questions on the talk site, which I haven't had time to even look at yet because it's been the event. As I said, this is kind of a mini AMA where we don't have most of the usual people up here, but I did want to just drop in and pop in some updates there for you guys. Any other things from you, Beetle, before we sort of wrap this up and let people get back to their day?
No, I think you said it. I'm excited for you guys' presentation soon. It'll be awesome. A lot of people are looking forward to it.
Me too. I know it's going to be recorded, and there will be a link eventually put out by, I think, Chainlink. We'll be sharing those. It's like Hubert's in the channel answering some questions there. Thank you, Hubert. He could probably speak to it better than me, and I probably already said too much. So, as I said, all this is with a grain of salt. We're still building it. Things are subject to change, but that's the direction that we're wanting to go in. I mean, we do want to be as transparent with everyone as we can with these types of things, because I think it's a big change and a huge new utility that we're adding for Jewel. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So thanks everyone for coming. As always, I'm super happy and grateful to be working here on this project with you guys, the amazing community. Everyone's very supportive and excited about the features that are being built. I do have some more alpha I'm going to be dropping later today at the presentation for Combat, which I've been sent by like Wisdom Gaming. They actually had some stuff they wrote up about how some of the specifics will be working. And they had a trailer, which I think we might release the trailer at a later date. I'm not able to fit it into my presentation because they already locked that. But yeah, I guess stay tuned for that, those that can, and we'll probably come back in here and drop those into here as well. So, yep. Thanks everyone. Thanks for being the best community. Thanks for being patient and supportive, and thanks to the team for all their hard work. So, with that, I guess we'll just end with bullish. See you guys later.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Peace.